Top 5 mistakes to avoid as a Brit moving abroad. Number 1 is understanding how UK-based products are taxed overseas. So first of all, you need to understand what the tax treaty says between the UK and the country where you're going. If there isn't a tax treaty, it means you could be taxed twice. If there is a treaty, every treaty around the world is going to be somewhat different. But generally speaking, if we break down the most common products in the UK, so an ISA, grows tax-free, you can take the money out tax-free, it's very, very tax efficient in the UK. If you move overseas, generally speaking, they'll look through the ISA and it would just be taxed as if it was a general investment account. So understanding that means that if you do have ISAs, you would want to realise the gains or cash the ISAs in before moving overseas. The next thing would be premium bonds. So again, tax-free in the UK. Once you leave, it's no longer tax-free. And that just eats away at the gains or the interest that you would make within the premium bonds. So again, it's probably best to cash these in before moving overseas, because there may be different products that are available that are more tax efficient. The next would be pensions, and this is a bit more complicated because it's split into two. So you've got the 25% PCLS, which is the pension commencement lump sum. This in the UK comes out tax-free. Once you're overseas, it is generally taxed. This does depend on the country where you're going. Sometimes there's a special tax rate, sometimes it is taxed in the UK. It will always be paid gross of tax, but then you may have to declare tax in the country where you're going. We have a full UK DTA list of all countries worldwide that are up to date, understanding exactly how that part's going to be taxed. The same goes for the income part, which is the other 75%. It's taxed at source in the UK, okay, and the way it's taxed is very complicated, but then you may have to claim that tax back depending on what the tax treaty says and pay tax in the country of where you're living. The tax rate may be higher, so you want to understand first of all how that works. But again, it really depends on the country where you're living and what the rules state between the UK pension in the UK and the country where you're living. So those are the main things to think about. It's really good to speak to an advisor to find out how this is going to work in the country where you're living and avoid potential large tax bills by making the wrong decision. The best way to plan this is by doing it before you leave. But if you have moved, it's understanding what the tax implications are going to be moving forward.